You can change the entire direction of your life with something so simple, so ordinary, that most people overlook it. 1 hour of learning. Every day. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter how far behind you feel. It doesn't matter what you didn't learn in school, what you weren't taught at home, or what opportunities you never had. From this moment forward, your future belongs to the person you decide to become, and that decision begins with one habit: educating yourself daily. Most people stop learning the moment they graduate. They settle into routines, responsibilities, and distractions. They scroll. They drift. They wait for motivation. They wait for clarity. They wait for a sign. But the truth is simple. Nothing changes if you don't. And the biggest difference between the people who stay stuck and the people who rise is this: those who rise keep learning. Not sometimes. Not when life is calm. Every single day. This is why the top 1% pull away. Not because they are born smarter, not because they come from perfect families or perfect systems. They pull away because they never stop feeding their mind. They read when others relax. They study when others complain. They practice when others procrastinate. They treat learning like fuel, not a chore. And over time, that consistent investment compounds into something unstoppable: skill, clarity, opportunity, confidence, and power. Think about how much your life could shift if you committed to one focused learning hour every day. Not multitasking, not half watching, not half listening. 1 full hour, protecting your mind, sharpening your thinking, and building the knowledge that will shape your future. 30 days of that gives you 30 hours of advantage. 6 months gives you 180 hours. 1 year gives you over 360 hours of pure self-education. And most people around you, they will have 0. This audiobook is not about motivation. It's not about hype. It's about structure. It's about building a life where improvement is non-negotiable, where growth is part of your identity, not something you hope will magically happen. For the next 90 minutes, you're going to learn how to design a self-education system that can carry you ahead of 99% of people as long as you commit to using it. We'll start with your identity, because nothing sticks unless you believe you're the kind of person who learns daily. Then we'll rewrite your schedule, so your days stop controlling you and you start controlling them. You'll create a personalized learning roadmap, so you're not just consuming information, but building skills that actually matter. You'll learn how to use books, courses, podcasts, and even your phone as tools for growth instead of distractions. You'll learn how to move from knowledge to action, how to turn what you learn into something you can do, something you can build, something that can change your income, your relationships, your confidence, and your direction. You'll learn how to track your progress, how to stay consistent when life gets messy, and how to protect the energy and focus you need to stay in the game. You'll learn how to connect with people smarter than you, how to ask the right questions, and how to turn your environment into a classroom that works for you. And most importantly, you'll learn how to build a 5-year advantage, because when you learn every day, even quietly, even slowly, you eventually become someone people can't ignore. Here's the truth no one wants to admit: learning is the most underrated form of power. It's quiet, it's private, it's invisible at first, but it is the one thing no one can take from you. The more you learn, the more capable you become. The more capable you become, the more confident you feel, and the more confident you feel, the more your opportunities expand. That's how people reinvent themselves. That's how they rise. That's how they break cycles and rewrite their future. But for all of that to happen, you must make one decision today. This hour belongs to you, not to your phone, not to random notifications, not to distractions or excuses. This is your hour for your future. And if you commit to it, truly commit, there is nothing stopping you from pulling ahead of the 99% who are still waiting for their life to change. So take a breath. Settle in. This is your starting point. For the next 90 minutes, Treat this audiobook like a contract with your future self. Listen closely, take notes, make decisions, build momentum, and if you hear something that challenges you, good. Growth starts where comfort ends. You don't need more time, you need more intention. You don't need a new life, you need new habits. You don't need to be brilliant, you need to be consistent. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Become a lifelong student of your own life. Most people grow older, but they don't grow wiser. Most people age, but they don't evolve. Most people add years, not depth, and the reason is painfully simple. They stop learning. There is a quiet tragedy hidden in adulthood. People leave school believing their education is complete. They assume experience alone will teach them everything they need. But experience without new knowledge becomes repetition. Days look the same. Thoughts stay the same. Choices stay the same. Years pass and nothing changes because the mind has stopped changing. This is the pain most adults never recognize until it's too late. Here is the truth that separates the average from the exceptional. The moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. This is the principle, a law of life that doesn't bend for anyone. Think about the picture for a moment. Two people start at the same point in life. One reads, studies, experiments, and absorbs new skills little by little. The other believes they already know enough. 10 years later, their worlds are unrecognizable. One has built options, clarity, income, confidence, and direction. The other has stayed exactly where life placed them. It's not luck, it's not destiny. It's the compounding nature of daily learning. Knowledge grows like interest. Small deposits become big advantages. Daily learning becomes unstoppable momentum. Becoming a lifelong student begins with humility. You must be willing to admit that you don't know enough yet, not because you're inadequate, but because you are expansive. People with a beginner's mindset learn faster, adapt better, and reinvent themselves with less fear. Their potential is always expanding because they refuse to let their ego restrict their growth. This mindset shift strengthens your identity. When you see yourself as a student of life, learning stops being a task and becomes a lifestyle. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop pretending you have everything figured out. You stop relying on the past to guide your future. You become someone who grows by design, not by accident. That identity alone places you ahead of most people. And here is something that must be said plainly. Curiosity is a superpower. Most people lose it. But if you keep yours alive, you unlock an intelligence far beyond IQ or talent. You develop the ability to question, to explore, to unlearn, and to rebuild yourself with intention. That is the real edge of lifelong learners. They never stop expanding their awareness or sharpening their perspective. Picture yourself walking into a room where everyone has stopped upgrading their mind. The conversations feel recycled. The thinking feels small. The decisions feel predictable. Yet you walk in with new insights, new skills, new ideas. Not because you're better, but because you're investing in yourself every day. That contrast becomes visible without you saying a word. This is how quiet learners begin to stand out. But learning daily is not about adding pressure. It's about adding direction. When you dedicate 1 hour a day to educating yourself, you gain clarity about your goals, the person you want to become, and the path between where you are and where you need to be. Discipline turns into mental sharpness. Mental sharpness turns into confidence. Confidence turns into opportunity, and opportunity turns into freedom. Learning is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. Most people never cross that bridge. In practice, becoming a lifelong student is simpler than it sounds. You don't need perfect systems. You don't need elite tutors. You don't need complicated study techniques. You need consistency. You need a daily ritual. You need 1 hour of undistracted focus where your learning is non-negotiable. Read a book, watch a lecture, Study a skill, take a course, reflect, build something, experiment, repeat. These small daily behaviors build an education more powerful than anything you ever experienced in school. A practical way to begin is to set a learning hour in your day. Morning, lunch break, or late evening. Protect it like a meeting with your future self. Put your phone away. Create a quiet space. Use this hour to feed your mind something that elevates you. Some days you'll be inspired. Some days you'll be tired. But the days you show up tired are the days you grow the most. Consistency builds identity. Identity builds destiny. Destiny begins with 1 hour. Your mind will resist in the beginning. It will tell you that you're too busy, too stressed, too overwhelmed to learn today. But these are not reasons. They are symptoms. Symptoms of a life controlled by circumstance instead of choice. The moment you educate yourself despite resistance, you begin to reclaim control over your future. If you need a prompt to keep yourself honest, ask, what did I learn today that made me better than yesterday? What skill am I building that will matter 5 years from now? What would my future self thank me for learning right now? These questions cut through excuses. They bring your focus back to what matters. They remind you that every day is an opportunity to grow or an opportunity to fall behind. And most importantly, they direct your attention toward becoming a person who evolves on purpose. Your future success is the byproduct of your current learning. Now imagine the long-term picture. Picture yourself 1 year from now after 365 hours of self-education. Picture your confidence. Picture your communication, picture your income, picture your ability to adapt, to problem solve, to understand people, to make better decisions, to stay resilient in chaos. Picture the clarity you'd carry into every room, not because life magically improved, but because you improved. This is why daily learning matters. Not for trivia, not for ego, but for power. The power to understand your world, the power to navigate uncertainty, the power to reinvent yourself whenever necessary. You become someone who doesn't crumble under pressure because you have the knowledge to handle it. Someone who doesn't fear change because you've trained your mind to adapt. Someone who doesn't get stuck because you have the tools to climb out. Learning gives you strength. Strength gives you freedom. Freedom gives you options. And options give you a life that expands rather than shrinks. Your mind is your greatest investment. Your education is your greatest leverage. Your consistency is your greatest advantage. And here's the punchline that matters more than anything you've heard so far. If you learn every day, you will not recognize your life in 5 years. Not because everything outside will change, but because everything inside will. You become sharper, you become wiser, you become stronger, you become someone who outgrows their old limitations, and the world begins to respond to you differently. Every day, give your future self 1 hour. Every day, educate your mind. Every day, choose growth over comfort. Because the people who keep learning will always rise above the people who don't. And now, you're choosing to rise. Chapter 2. The 4% Rule. Protect 1 hour of learning. Every day. Most people don't fail because they're not smart enough. They fail because their days disappear before they ever get the chance to learn. Hours slip away into scrolling, stress, noise, distraction, and routines that drain energy without creating growth. People wake up promising themselves they'll learn something today, and then night arrives with the same sentence. I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Not because people are lazy, but because life is designed to steal your attention unless you actively protect it. This is the pain that keeps millions stuck. They want to improve, but their time is not truly theirs. Here is the truth most people never realize until years have passed. 1 hour of learning is only 4% of your day, but that 4% determines the direction of the other 96%. This is the principle behind the 4% rule, the simplest, clearest, most powerful way to transform your life through consistent self-education. When you commit to one protected hour every day, you create a compounding effect most people never experience. You build momentum, depth, confidence, and skills that separate you from the average person faster than you can imagine. Picture two versions of yourself. One version lives a typical day: emails, errands, work stress, distractions, chores, dinner, exhaustion. You go to bed knowing you moved a lot but progressed very little. The other version protects 1 hour of learning at the start or end of the day. 1 hour of reading, studying, practicing, or improving a skill. The rest of the day is exactly the same, but your future changes. Why? Because you have injected intention into your life, a small, focused dose of growth, a quiet but powerful shift in identity. Most adults never experience this contrast. You will. Learning doesn't require your whole day. It requires a protected hour. And to protect something, you must first value it. 1 hour can sharpen your thinking, redirect your decisions, strengthen your discipline, and shape your long-term trajectory. 1 hour is the difference between drifting and designing, between reacting and rising, between surviving and evolving. But here's the real challenge. The world will constantly try to interrupt that hour. Your phone, your tasks, your responsibilities, your impulses, your fatigue. Everything will compete for that time because everything else feels urgent while learning feels optional. This is why most people never break through. They let urgency kill importance. They let noise kill direction. They let everyone else's priorities become more important than their own future. To protect your learning hour, you must reclaim ownership of your time. You must declare that your growth is non-negotiable. You must treat your learning hour like a meeting with your future self, a meeting you refuse to cancel. That is how transformation begins. A practical approach is simple. Choose 1 hour of the day and lock it in. Early morning before the world wakes up. Lunch break. Late evening when everything quiets. You choose the hour that aligns with your energy, not your excuses. Then you turn it into ritual, a routine that becomes part of who you are, a quiet appointment where you show up to sharpen your mind. This is the practice that turns intention into identity. This hour should be clean, clear, protected. No notifications, no noise, no social media, no multitasking. It is a sanctuary for your learning, your clarity, your future. At first, it will feel unfamiliar. Your mind will wander, your habits will resist, your environment will distract you, but consistency will train you, ritual will strengthen you, repetition will change you. Imagine starting your day with a 4% investment into your growth. Imagine reading a chapter while the world is still asleep, or studying a skill before the day begins. Imagine ending your day knowing that no matter what chaos happened, you still grew. This 1 hour becomes your anchor, a fixed point in a moving world. And here's what happens once the habit sticks. You begin to think faster, clearer, deeper. You begin to notice connections others miss. You begin to understand concepts that once confused you. You begin to gain insights that elevate your decisions. You begin to feel in control again. Your mind becomes sharper because you are using it with purpose. To reinforce this habit, ask yourself powerful prompts. What did I learn today that I didn't know yesterday? When did I last honor my hour of learning without negotiation? How would my life look a year from now if I protected this hour every day? These questions pull you back to the truth. They interrupt excuses. They anchor your behavior to your identity. They remind you that your growth is in your hands, not in the hands of circumstances, people, or luck. Because the truth is this: if you don't protect your hour, no one else will. Your boss won't, your friends won't, your family won't. The world definitely won't. Everyone benefits when you sacrifice your learning, except you. But when you protect your learning time, everyone eventually benefits from who you become, You become more capable, more grounded, more confident, more focused. You become someone who contributes more because you understand more. This is why the 4% rule doesn't just change your schedule, it changes your self-worth. People who study themselves daily become more intentional about how they spend the rest of their time. They waste less energy. They cut out distractions faster. They stop giving hours to things that drain them. They develop a stronger sense of direction. Their internal compass strengthens. Their discipline rises. Learning 1 hour a day doesn't drain you. It reorganizes your entire life around growth. Now imagine the long-term picture. 1 hour a day for 30 days equals 30 hours, nearly a full work week dedicated to improving yourself. 1 hour a day for 6 months equals 180 hours, enough to master the fundamentals of a new skill. 1 hour a day for a year equals over 360 hours, enough to reinvent your career, reshape your thinking, transform your confidence, and put yourself ahead of 99% of people who never commit to daily learning. And the best part, you don't need talent, you don't need genius, you don't need perfect circumstances. You need 1 hour, protected, repeated, respected. This is the punchline that must land deeply. 1 hour a day can change the rest of your life if you protect it with everything you have. There will be days you don't feel like it, days when you're tired, days when you're stressed, days when learning feels too hard, but those are the days that count the most. Anyone can learn when life is easy. Only a disciplined mind learns when it's inconvenient. And that is what puts you ahead. The 4% rule isn't about learning fast. It's about learning consistently. Not about intensity, about identity, not about pressure, about power. Protect 1 hour. Feed your mind. Build your future. The world belongs to those who commit to their growth, and now you're becoming one of them. Chapter 3. Design your personal learning roadmap. Most people want to improve their lives, but they have no idea what they're actually trying to improve. They want success, they want growth, they want a better future, but they don't have a plan. And without a plan, even the most motivated person will eventually get lost. This is the pain that silently cripples millions. They learn randomly instead of strategically. People read a little of everything, watch whatever shows up on their feed, take courses they never finish, jump from idea to idea, and hope that somehow it will all add up. But scattered learning produces scattered results. You end up knowledgeable but not skilled, motivated but not directed, busy but not transformed. Here is the principle you must build your life around. Learning only creates power when it is organized. When you know what you're aiming for and why, your daily learning becomes laser-focused. It hits the target. It compounds into expertise. It becomes a real advantage, not just information. Picture two people walking into a library. One wanders the aisles, flipping through random books, hoping something sticks. The other arrives with a list, specific skills they're building, a timeline for each, and a clear vision of who they want to become. One leaves with scattered ideas, the other leaves with a sharper identity. That is the difference between random learning and roadmap learning. One feels productive, the other is transformative. Your life changes the moment you build a learning roadmap. A personal learning roadmap is your blueprint for the skills, knowledge, and capabilities that matter most to your future. It is a declaration that you refuse to let the world decide what you learn. You decide, you choose, you design, and you commit. The first step is clarity. Clarity about who you want to be 5 years from now. Clarity about the skills your future will require. Clarity about the life you're building toward. Most people never ask themselves the foundational questions. What do I want my life to look like? What skills would make me unstoppable in my field? What knowledge would change my earning power, my confidence, my direction? Without these answers, learning becomes noise. With these answers, learning becomes purpose. Start by identifying 3 areas of growth that matter most for your future. Not 10, not 20. 3. 3 pillars that will shape your next 5 years. For most people, these pillars fall into categories like career, money, psychology, communication, leadership, creativity, or self-mastery. Choose 3 that align with your ambitions. For example, career skills, something that increases your earning potential. Money and business, something that gives you financial control. Self-mastery, something that strengthens your mind, discipline, and identity. These are not random categories. They shape 99% of a person's life trajectory. Once you choose your pillars, break them into simpler skills. Career skills might include digital marketing, public speaking, design, coding, sales, or analytics. Money might include investing basics, financial literacy, budgeting, or building a side income. Self-mastery might include focus, habits, emotional control, communication, or mental clarity. These become your learning tracks, clear, structured, and aligned with your vision. Now picture your next year. 4 quarters, each quarter dedicated to a theme. Each theme supported by books, videos, courses, and daily practice. Each day offering 1 hour of progress. This is how top performers think. They don't learn everything. They learn what moves them forward. The practice is simple. Choose your 3 pillars. Then assign each pillar to a 3-4 month window. For example, Quarter 1, digital skills. Quarter 2, communication. Quarter 3, personal finance. Quarter, self-mastery and reflection. This creates momentum, structure, and a sense of direction. Instead of wandering, you are building. Instead of guessing, you are upgrading. You become the architect of your future, not a passenger in it. But a roadmap isn't just a list of skills. It must be practical. Every skill you choose must be something you can practice, not something vague, not something theoretical, something you can do. Learning is not memorizing. It is transforming. Want to become better at public speaking? Record 1 short video every week. Analyze your tone, speed, clarity, breath, and presence. Repeat. Want to become financially literate? Read 1 chapter a day on money fundamentals. Track your expenses. Apply the concepts. Review every month. Want to learn a digital skill? Build small projects. Break down tutorials into daily practice. See visible improvements every week. Each skill becomes a micro-project, something you can track and measure. This is what makes learning stick. When you transform learning into action, you transform knowledge into identity. To stay aligned, ask yourself guiding prompts. What skill will give me the biggest return in the next 5 years? What could I learn that would increase my confidence the fastest? What knowledge would reduce my stress and increase my control over life? These questions eliminate noise. They sharpen your priorities. They remind you that learning is not entertainment, it is strategy. Here's a powerful truth. Your roadmap is not just about skills. It is about the person you become while building them. Roadmap learners develop discipline because they commit to something long-term. They develop focus because they are no longer jumping from topic to topic. They develop confidence because every hour they invest builds a stronger version of themselves. This is why most people never unlock their full potential. They never build a system that directs their learning. They keep reacting instead of designing. They keep consuming instead of progressing. They keep dreaming instead of planning. A roadmap turns dreams into doors, and every hour of learning becomes the key. But let's be honest, building a roadmap requires courage. It requires acknowledging where you are weak. It requires admitting where you lack skill. It requires confronting the gap between your current identity and your future identity. Most people avoid that discomfort. You won't, because when you look directly at the gap, something powerful happens. You stop fearing it, you start closing it. This is the transformation that daily learning creates. Not overnight, not instantly, but steadily, consistently, intentionally. Imagine where you could be 1 year from now, with a roadmap guiding every hour of your learning. Imagine the momentum. Imagine the clarity. Imagine the opportunities that would open up because you finally built a foundation strong enough to support them. Now imagine 5 years from now. 5 years of focused learning. 5 years of skill stacking. 5 years of becoming the best version of yourself. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary. And here is the punchline, the truth that sits at the core of your entire journey. Without a roadmap, your learning is noise. With a roadmap, your learning becomes power. Build it, follow it, protect it, and you will become someone the world cannot ignore. Chapter 4. Learn like the top %. Books as your secret weapon. Most people read, but very few learn. They go through pages without going through a transformation. They scan words, but the words never shape them. They accumulate books, but not wisdom. This is the pain of modern learning. People consume information, but they don't absorb it. You can read 20 books a year and still stay exactly the same if nothing you read turns into action, clarity, or identity. And this is why so many people feel frustrated. They keep reading but don't feel smarter, stronger, or more capable. The problem isn't books. The problem is how people use them. Here is the principle you must anchor your life to. The top 1% don't read more books. They read books in a way that transforms them. That one shift changes everything. Picture 2 readers sitting side by side. They open the same book. They look at the same sentences. They highlight similar paragraphs. But only one of them will walk away changed. Why? Because the first is reading for information and the second is reading for power. The first finishes the book. The second becomes the book. That is the difference that builds exceptional people. To learn like the top 1%, books cannot be entertainment. They must be weapons. Tools that sharpen your thinking, strengthen your decisions, and give you the mental leverage to move through life with clarity and confidence. Books are the mentors you don't have to meet. Books are the experiences you don't have to live through. Books are the shortcuts you don't have to pay for, but only if you read them strategically. The practice begins with choosing the right books, not trendy books, not books you think you should read. Books that align directly with your personal learning roadmap. Books that strengthen the 3 pillars you've chosen: career skills, money, and self-mastery. Books that solve real problems you face. Books that prepare you for the future you want. When you choose books with intention, each chapter becomes a bridge between your present and your potential. Once you pick the book, you need a way of reading that creates retention. Not passive reading, not reading while scrolling, not reading while distracted. You need a ritual. Sit down with the book. Open it with full presence. Tell yourself, I am here to learn, not to finish. And start reading slowly, letting the words land, not rush past. To ensure you absorb what matters, use the 3-1 method. After each reading session, capture 3 insights you didn't know, 1 action you can apply today. This simple habit turns reading into growth. It closes the gap between I learned something and I became someone new. It forces your brain to see the book as a training session, not a hobby. When you do this consistently, something powerful happens. Books stop being sources of motivation and become sources of transformation. You begin to see patterns. You begin to connect ideas across different subjects. You begin to recognize behaviors you need to change. You begin to feel your mind sharpening in real time. Picture this: a stack of books you have actually absorbed. Not just finished. A notebook full of insights that shaped who you are. A clear memory of how each book changed your thinking. That is how the top 1% build their intellectual advantage. You can start small. 10 pages a day, 20 minutes a day, half a chapter a day. The volume doesn't matter. The direction does. Because every page you read with intention builds a stronger version of you. Every idea you absorb becomes a tool in your mind. Every story you learn becomes a lens for your decisions. Every concept you master becomes leverage for your future. But here's something deeper. Reading reshapes your inner world. You become calmer because you understand more. You become more confident because you know more. You become less reactive because you see bigger perspectives. You become wiser because your thoughts are built on foundations, not impulses. Books are quiet teachers, silent mentors, invisible guides. They don't shout, they don't demand. They wait for you to meet them with intention. To keep your reading aligned with your goals, ask yourself, what skill will this book help me build? What problem will this book help me solve? What decision will this book help me make better? What part of my identity will this book help me upgrade? Questions are the compass of self-education. They turn reading from consumption into direction. And here's something you must never forget. Highlighting is not learning. Finishing is not mastery. Absorption is mastery. If you finish a book but can't explain what it taught you, you didn't learn it. You just touched it. To truly absorb knowledge, use the echo technique. After finishing each chapter, close the book and explain the chapter out loud in your own words. This forces your mind to retrieve, organize, and internalize the concepts. It strengthens memory, deepens clarity, and reveals what you don't understand yet. The top 1% don't move fast, they move deliberately. They don't read to feel productive, they read to become powerful. Once you understand this, books become life-changing. Imagine reading 10 books this year that directly improve your life. 10 books that teach you the core skills your future requires. 10 books that reshape your mindset, confidence, earning potential, emotional control, and direction. Now imagine 10 years of that. You could build the equivalent of a master's degree in skills that matter. You could reinvent your income, your career, your identity. You could build stability, clarity, and confidence that no one can take away. That is the compounding power of self-education. And here's the real picture. While most people read passively, you will read intentionally. While they chase stimulation, you will chase understanding. While they collect books, you will collect breakthroughs. This is how people rise in silence. This is how self-education becomes self-elevation. This is how ordinary people develop extraordinary clarity. Because every time you open a book with intention, you are choosing to rise. Every time you slow down to absorb, you are choosing to grow. Every time you apply what you've read, you are choosing to change. Books don't just teach you, they transform you. They expand your world. They reveal your blind spots. They guide your next moves. They strengthen the person you're becoming. And the punchline is simple. Read with intention, and books will take you where talent alone can't. 1 hour a day, one book at a time, one breakthrough after another. This is how you learn like the top 1%. This is how you build the mind that shapes the life you want. This is how books become your greatest weapon. Chapter 5. Turn screens into a classroom. Courses, podcasts, and YouTube. Most people spend hours on their screens every single day, but almost none of that time makes them smarter. Phones are in their hands, laptops are in front of them, videos play endlessly, notifications fire non-stop. But their life doesn't improve, their thinking doesn't sharpen, and their skills don't expand. This is the pain of the digital age. We are surrounded by unlimited knowledge, yet trapped in unlimited distraction. People don't lack resources, they lack direction. People don't lack information, they lack intention. People don't lack opportunities, they lack focus. The same screen that could make you brilliant is the same screen that keeps most people average. Here is the principle that can change your life forever. Your screen is either your classroom or your cage. You choose which one. The moment you understand this, everything shifts. Picture two people sitting with the same phone. One scrolls through random videos, gossip, memes, and drama. The other studies a new skill, listens to a deep podcast, takes a course, or watches a powerful breakdown of a concept they want to master. Both are using technology, but their futures are not the same. One escapes reality, the other upgrades it. This is the picture of how 1% thinkers use the digital world. They turn every device into a tool for growth. You don't need to throw away your phone. You don't need to disappear from social media. You don't need to detox from technology forever. You need to retrain your relationship with your screen so it works for you, not against you. The practice begins with one simple rule. 70% of your screen time must be educational. That means videos that teach you something, podcasts that strengthen your mind, courses that build your skills, channels that elevate your thinking, content that aligns with your roadmap, not your impulses. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Start by redesigning your digital environment. Unfollow noise. Mute accounts that steal your attention. Subscribe to creators who add value to your growth. Organize playlists for learning. Create bookmarks for skills you're building. You're not trying to escape the digital world. You're trying to shape it. Because when you use technology strategically, every minute online becomes leverage for your future. Take courses, for example. Most people buy them, watch one module, get overwhelmed, and stop. They mistake buying a course for building a skill. But courses are one of the fastest ways to learn, if you use them correctly. The way to truly benefit from online courses is simple. Study one course at a time. Take notes aggressively. Pause often. Apply immediately. Don't watch courses passively. Treat them like a class. You are the student. The world is your school. Your ambition is your teacher. Imagine choosing one course every quarter, aligned with your roadmap. 4 courses a year, each focused on a specific skill: communication, digital marketing, personal finance, leadership, psychology, coding, design. In 5 years, you would not recognize the person you've become. Now think about podcasts. People consume podcasts like background noise. They listen while driving, cooking, or walking, but they rarely listen with intention. Here is a mindset shift. Podcasts are conversations with people smarter than you. They're a chance to hear the thinking of leaders, entrepreneurs, psychologists, scientists, and experts you would never meet in real life. This is proximity, mental proximity, to excellence. But to benefit from it, you must listen actively. When you hear a powerful idea, pause. Repeat it. Write it down. Ask yourself, how does this apply to my life today? One insight applied is better than 50 episodes ignored. YouTube is the same. It is the greatest library ever created. But most people use it like an entertainment machine. Top performers use it like a university. Tutorials, breakdowns, deep dives, case studies, skill lessons, documentaries, long-form analysis, high-level thinkers explaining their craft. If you pick the right channels, YouTube becomes a masterclass that never ends. Ask yourself, what if every night, instead of random content, I watched one video that made me better? How would my life look in 1 year if I replaced 30 minutes of entertainment with 30 minutes of learning? How much could I grow if I used my phone like a tool instead of a toy? These prompts shift your mentality from consumption to elevation. They remind you that your mind is always being shaped. You just choose by what. And here's something you must internalize deeply. Your attention is your most valuable currency. Where it goes, your future follows. If your attention goes to distraction, your future becomes chaotic. If your attention goes to learning, your future becomes powerful. This is why digital self-education works so well. It removes excuses, it removes waiting, it removes barriers. It puts the entire world within your reach. But you must use it with purpose. Imagine waking up and starting your day with a 20-minute educational video that sharpens your skill. Then during lunch, you listen to a podcast that challenges your thinking. In the evening, you go through a course module aligned with your roadmap. Before bed, you review your notes and capture one insight you'll apply tomorrow. That's not just learning, that's rewiring your identity. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to behave differently. You begin to expect more from yourself. You begin to move differently in the world. Because every day, you are feeding your mind the material required to build a better life. Now imagine the long-term picture. 10 minutes a day becomes hours. Hours become hundreds. Hundreds become mastery. Mastery becomes opportunity. Opportunity becomes power. This is what people mean when they say learning is the real flex. Not because it looks impressive, but because it is impressive. It builds the kind of strength others cannot see until it shows up in your results. And yes, there will be days when entertainment is tempting. Days when scrolling feels easier. Days when your brain wants comfort instead of growth. That's normal. That's human. But those are the days that matter most. Because the ability to choose education over distraction, even when you don't feel like it, is the difference between the life you have and the life you want. Screens are not your enemy. They are your mirror. They reflect your priorities. They reveal your discipline. They expose your identity. Use them wisely, and they become your greatest ally. And here is the punchline. You don't need less screen time. You need better screen time. Turn your devices into a classroom. Turn your hours into education. Turn your attention into advantage. Because the people who use screens to learn will always outrun those who use them to escape. And now, you're choosing to outrun. Chapter 6. From knowledge to skill. Learn by doing, not just watching. Most people don't fail because they don't learn enough. They fail because they don't use what they learn. They watch hundreds of videos, listen to dozens of podcasts, read piles of books, and take countless notes. But nothing changes. Their life stays the same. Their habits stay the same. Their opportunities stay the same. Because knowledge without action is just potential energy. And potential energy unused eventually becomes wasted energy. This is the pain that limits so many intelligent people. They know a lot, but they can't do much with what they know. Everyone has met someone like this. Someone who can talk about productivity but isn't productive. Someone who knows financial advice but can't manage money. Someone who reads about communication but still struggles to speak clearly. Someone who studies discipline but never follows through. This is the painful gap between understanding and ability. Here is the principle that separates the top performers from the rest. You don't truly know something until you can execute it. Reading teaches you concepts. Doing teaches you competence. Mistakes teach you mastery. Picture two people learning the same skill. Let's say public speaking. One watches tutorials for weeks, takes notes, and studies techniques. The other practices speaking out loud, records themselves, analyzes mistakes, and tries again. Months pass. The first person is informed. The second person is transformed. Knowledge is theoretical. Skill is practical. Growth requires both, but transformation comes from the second. This is why learn by doing is one of the most powerful philosophies in self-education. It forces you to step out of your comfort zone, confront your weaknesses, experiment, improve, and build real-world competence. Without this approach, learning becomes entertainment instead of elevation. The top 1% understand this. They don't just consume, they create. They don't just study, they apply. They don't just understand, they execute. They test what they learn, break it, rebuild it, refine it, and use it. That's why they get better faster. The practice begins with a simple shift. Every time you learn something, ask yourself, how can I use this today? Not next week, not someday. Today, even the smallest application matters. One sentence spoken with confidence. One paragraph written with clarity. One attempt at a new technique. One experiment to test your knowledge. Action turns theory into identity. To build skills efficiently, you need micro-projects, small, manageable challenges that force you to practice what you learn. They remove the fear of big goals and replace it with consistent progress. For example, if you're learning communication, record a 60-second video each day. If you're learning design, redesign one small graphic every week. If you're learning coding, build tiny programs or tools. If you're learning marketing, run one small campaign. If you're learning business, create a mini-offer and test it with real people. Micro-projects give you immediate feedback, which is the fastest way to grow. Because feedback is the engine of mastery. It shows you what works, it reveals what doesn't, it exposes blind spots, it shortens the learning curve. Without feedback, your knowledge stays in your head. With feedback, your knowledge becomes a skill that shapes your future. Here's a powerful picture. Imagine stacking micro-projects for a full year. 52 weeks, 52 small builds, 52 cycles of improvement. By the end of the year, you would have more experience than most people gain in a decade. Skill is built through repetition, not information. Competence is built through exposure, not perfection. Confidence is built through execution, not theory. To deepen your learning, use the learn, do, reflect, improve loop. Learn something new. Do something with it. Reflect on what went well and what didn't. Improve your next attempt based on those reflections. That cycle, repeated hundreds of times, turns a beginner into a professional and a professional into a master. To keep yourself grounded in action, ask yourself prompts each day. What did I apply today from what I learned? What small project can I create this week? What mistake taught me something valuable? What can I improve on my next attempt? These prompts force your learning to become practical instead of passive. They move your brain from consumption mode to creation mode. And here's a truth you need to embrace deeply. You will never feel ready to practice. You must practice anyway. Waiting for confidence is the fastest way to stay stuck. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes from action. Every attempt makes you less afraid. Every mistake makes you more skilled. Every repetition makes you more capable. Imagine someone learning to swim by only watching videos. They could watch hundreds of tutorials. They could memorize every technique. They could understand the science of floating and moving through water. But the moment they touch the pool, fear takes over, because information cannot replace experience. Life is like that. You cannot think your way into mastery. You must step into the water. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable. Yes, you will be bad at first. Yes, you will make mistakes. But that discomfort is the doorway to your next level. The world rewards doers, not knowers. It rewards those who try, not those who plan forever. It rewards those who build, not those who hesitate. Doing something poorly is more valuable than knowing something perfectly but never using it. The moment you begin practicing consistently, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants to learn and start seeing yourself as someone who becomes skilled. You stop being a spectator and become a creator. You begin to trust your ability to improve. You begin to feel momentum in your life, and that momentum becomes addictive. Now imagine the long-term picture. 1 year of daily application turns into undeniable skill. 3 years turns into expertise. 5 years turns into mastery. 10 years turns into a life you never imagined possible. This is how careers are transformed. This is how confidence is built. This is how opportunities appear. This is how people rise. Because the world doesn't reward what you know. It rewards what you can do. And that leads to the punchline of this chapter. A truth you must carry with you from this moment on. Knowledge is potential. Skill is power. Action is the bridge. Learn daily. Apply daily. Fail daily. Improve daily. And you will build a life shaped not by what you studied, but by what you mastered. Chapter 7. Track your progress. So you can see compounding. Most people work hard, but they don't grow. They try, but they don't improve. They learn, but they don't evolve. Not because they lack potential, effort, or intelligence, but because they don't track anything. This is the pain most people never notice. If you don't measure your growth, your mind will convince you that you're not growing. You can read every day, practice every day, build consistently, and still feel stuck, simply because you have no record of your progress. And when your mind feels like nothing is changing, it becomes easy to quit. You stop giving effort, you stop trying, you stop believing, you stop learning. People don't burn out from working hard. People burn out from working without seeing progress. Here is the principle that changes everything. What you track, you can improve. What you ignore, you will repeat. Tracking doesn't just show progress, it creates progress. Because the moment you measure something, you become aware of it, and awareness forces improvement. Picture two people learning the same skill. One practices daily but never tracks anything. No notes, no metrics, no reflection. The other keeps a simple daily log. What they learned, how long they practiced, what they improved, and what they struggled with. After 6 months, the difference is massive. Not because one worked harder, but because one worked smarter. Tracking is how you convert effort into elevation. And here's the picture you must see clearly. If you don't track your growth, you underestimate your progress. If you underestimate your progress, you lose motivation. If you lose motivation, you lose consistency. If you lose consistency, you lose the life you're trying to build. Tracking protects your future from your emotions. The practice begins with something incredibly simple. Create a learning journal, not a fancy notebook, not a complicated spreadsheet, just one dedicated space where you record your growth every single day. 3 lines, 3 bullets, 3 minutes. What did I learn today? What did I apply today? What will I improve tomorrow? This tiny habit rewires your mind. It gives your brain proof that you're evolving. It roots your journey in reality, not emotion. Because emotionally, you will forget your progress, but on paper, you cannot. Another powerful tracking tool is the daily score, a simple rating system for your focus, energy, and consistency. Focus, 1 to 5. Energy, 1 to 5. Consistency, yes, no. That's it. But over time, those tiny scores create a map, a psychological dashboard that shows you patterns in your growth. You begin to recognize which days you learn best, which routines help you improve, which habits steal your energy, and which environments elevate your focus. Data becomes awareness. Awareness becomes discipline. Discipline becomes power. The top 1% don't rely on motivation, they rely on measurement. They track reps in the gym. They track hours of study. They track business performance. They track progress toward their goals. Not because they're obsessed, but because they understand this truth. Progress feels invisible until you measure it. And once you measure it, you can't ignore it. Imagine tracking your learning hour for 30 days. 30 check marks on a calendar. 30 moments of self-respect. 30 decisions that shape your identity. Then imagine 90 days, then 180 days, then a full year. Your calendar becomes a visual story of discipline. Your journal becomes a record of your transformation. Your progress becomes undeniable. Yet most people never experience this because they never commit to tracking. They rely on memory, they rely on emotion, they rely on willpower, and willpower always loses to doubt. Tracking replaces doubt with data. To deepen your growth, ask yourself powerful prompts each week. What improved in me this week? What did I struggle with and why? What felt easier today than it did last month? What is one habit that is clearly working? What is one habit slowing down my growth? Prompts turn tracking into self-awareness. And self-awareness is the root of transformation. Now imagine another layer of tracking. Monthly reflections. At the end of each month, sit down and ask, what are the top 3 lessons I learned this month? What skill feels more natural now? What mindset feels stronger? What mistake taught me the most? What wins am I most proud of? These reflections reveal something your daily life hides. You are evolving even when you can't feel it. Because growth is slow, growth is quiet, growth is subtle, but it is happening. Tracking makes the invisible visible, and when you can see progress, you stay committed to the journey. Here's the psychological truth. Your brain needs evidence to believe in your potential. Tracking gives it that evidence. When you write down your progress, your brain learns, I am improving. I am becoming more disciplined. I am getting smarter. I am building momentum. I am the kind of person who shows up. This is identity building. This is how self-belief is created. Self-belief doesn't come from motivational quotes. Self-belief comes from proof. Proof that you keep your promises. Proof that you are consistent. Proof that you are capable of becoming more. And there is no better proof than a trail of effort you can see. Now imagine the compounding effect of tracking. Not weeks, not months, but years. A year of tracking. Your learning creates a level of self-awareness most people never experience. 3 years creates mastery. 5 years creates a sharpened mind that moves differently. A mind that makes better choices, spots better opportunities, and avoids destructive patterns. This is why the 1% move faster, not because they're smarter, but because they track everything that matters. They don't wonder if they're improving. They know. They don't question their direction. They see it. They don't guess their progress. They measure it. Tracking is the anchor of consistent improvement. It is the structure that makes daily learning sustainable. It is the mirror that reflects your evolution. It is the map that keeps you on course. It is the tool that turns discipline into destiny. People who track grow faster. People who track stay motivated longer. People who track build unshakable confidence. People who track become unstoppable. And that brings us to the punchline, the truth that sits at the heart of this entire chapter. If you want to change your life, track your life. If you want to grow your mind, track your mind. If you want to see compounding, measure it. Because the person who tracks their growth becomes the person who controls their growth. Keep your journal close. Keep your questions sharp. Keep your metrics simple. Keep your discipline steady. And soon, you will see what most people never see. The undeniable rise of the person you are becoming. Chapter 8. Protect your focus and energy like a billion-dollar asset. Most people fail not because they aren't disciplined, not because they aren't smart, and not because they don't want to improve. They fail because they are exhausted. They are mentally drained, emotionally overloaded, physically tired, and constantly distracted. Their mind is foggy, their focus is weak, their attention is scattered, and learning becomes a battle they can't win. Not because they lack potential, but because they lack energy. This is the pain that silently destroys growth. You cannot build a powerful mind with a depleted battery. No matter how motivated you are, you cannot learn deeply when you're tired. You cannot stay consistent when your energy is low. You cannot focus when your environment constantly pulls at your attention. So before you can elevate your life, you must protect the fuel that makes elevation possible. Here is the principle that top performers live by. Focus and energy are assets. Protect them like they're worth $1 billion. Because they are. Without energy, even the best learning system collapses. Without focus, even the best teacher becomes useless. Without mental clarity, even the best information won't stick. Picture two versions of yourself working through the same learning hour. One version slept poorly, scrolled until 2 a.m., ate junk food, and is surrounded by noise. They sit down to learn, but everything feels harder. Their brain resists, their attention slips, their retention is low. The other version slept well, moved their body, protected their attention, and has clean energy. They sit down with clarity and absorb information twice as fast. Same hour, different result. Not because of talent, but because of energy. You must see this clearly. Your energy is the multiplier of your learning. Your focus is the amplifier of your growth. So if you want to stay ahead of 99% of people, protecting your energy is not optional. It is strategic. The practice begins with one foundation. You must remove the things that drain you before adding the things that elevate you. Most people try to fix their focus while living in an environment that destroys it. They try to study while their phone screams for attention. They try to think while their mind is full of stress. They try to grow while carrying emotional weight. They try to concentrate while being overstimulated. Focus is not just a skill. It is a consequence of your lifestyle, your habits, your environment, and your internal state. Start with energy. Energy is not willpower. Energy is biology, and biology is predictable. Your energy drops when you don't sleep. Your focus collapses when you overconsume sugar and processed foods. Your clarity disappears when you sit all day. Your creativity dies when you never give your mind silence. So before you ask, how do I stay focused? Ask, am I giving my brain what it needs to function? Improve your sleep. Move your body every day. Drink more water. Eat food that gives more than it takes. Create boundaries with technology. These simple practices give you more learning power than any productivity hack. Next, protect your attention. Your attention is stolen by design. Apps are engineered to distract you. Social media is optimized to overstimulate you. Notifications are designed to keep you reactive. But you are not a slave to your phone. You are its owner. Turn off notifications that don't serve your growth. Put your phone in another room during your learning hour. Unfollow accounts that drain your emotional energy. Unsubscribe from digital noise. Curate your feed to match your roadmap. Your mind becomes what it consumes. So consume wisely. Now imagine your learning hour with clean energy and protected focus. The room is quiet. Your phone is out of reach. Your mind is rested. Your body is calm. You sit down with intention. You study with clarity. You absorb more in 1 hour than others absorb in 5. This is the power of controlling your internal and external environment. This is how you go from overwhelmed to unstoppable. To reinforce your discipline, ask yourself prompts each day. What drained my energy today? What gave me energy today? What distracted me? What amplified my focus? What can I remove to make learning easier tomorrow? These prompts bring awareness. Awareness brings control, and control brings transformation. Because most people don't need more time. They need more clarity. They need more energy. They need fewer distractions. They need environments that support their identity. Top performers engineer their environment before relying on their discipline. They don't leave energy or focus to chance. They design conditions that make learning inevitable. They wake up earlier to protect quiet time. They set strong digital boundaries. They prioritize sleep like a performance tool. They keep their space clean and simple. They choose people who support their growth. They avoid conversations that drain them. They build routines that fuel them. All of this is preparation. Self-education is not just about what you learn. It's about how you keep your mind capable of learning. Now picture yourself 1 year from now, living with this level of intentionality. Your energy is clean. Your mind feels sharp. Your focus is steady. Your habits support you instead of sabotage you. The difference will be dramatic. You will understand things faster. You will retain more information. You will apply what you learn with ease. You will feel more grounded, confident, and centered. People will notice the change before you do. Because when your energy is high, your potential becomes visible. When your focus is strong, your talent becomes undeniable. When your mind is clear, your growth becomes exponential. This is the compounding effect of protecting your internal world. It is the hidden advantage of the top 1%, not because they work harder, but because they think, sleep, eat, and live in ways that support their learning. Most people want better results without building a better foundation. You won't. And that leads to the punchline of this entire chapter. The truth that elevates your learning more than any tactic, trick, or hack. If you protect your energy will protect your future. If you protect your focus will build your future. Your mind is a powerful machine when powered correctly. Your attention is a powerful weapon when aimed deliberately. So guard them fiercely, value them highly, treat them like they're worth everything, because they are. Protect your energy, protect your focus, and you will learn faster, rise higher, and grow deeper than almost anyone around you. Chapter 9. Learn beyond yourself. People, mentors, and the real world. Most people try to learn alone. They sit with their books, their videos, their courses, their notes, believing that self-education means isolation. They assume that growth is a solo mission. But the truth is, learning without people, real people, experienced people, wiser people, creates limits you will never see coming. This is the pain that holds so many back. You can only grow so far alone. You can study theory, you can master concepts, you can absorb information, but without exposure to people who are ahead of you, your learning stays incomplete. You miss perspective, you miss feedback, you miss the shortcuts that come from someone else's experience. The world is full of people who know a lot, but have never been stretched, challenged, guided, or sharpened by others. That is why their progress is slow. That is why their confidence is shaky. That is why their decisions feel uncertain. They're learning in a vacuum. Here is the principle that elevates your growth instantly. You rise faster when you learn from people who are already where you want to be. Because they have walked the path, they have made the mistakes, they have paid the price, they have earned the insight. And 5 minutes of wisdom from the right person can save you 5 years of trial and error. Picture 2 people learning the same skill. One stays isolated, studying, practicing, guessing, hoping they're doing it right. The other seeks out feedback, conversations, mentorship, and community. One grows slowly, the other grows exponentially. This is the picture of growth that most people never experience. Real learning accelerates when other people enter the equation. Growth isn't just intellectual, it's relational. You need exposure, you need challenge, you need mirrors, you need voices that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. The practice begins with a mindset shift. Stop trying to do everything alone. You're not meant to climb in silence. You are meant to climb with support, guidance, and wisdom from those who've been on the mountain longer than you. Start by surrounding yourself with growth-minded people. Not dramatic people. Not negative people. Not people stuck in cycles of excuses. People who are also learning. People who also want to improve. People who push themselves and therefore push you. Environment is acceleration. Community is momentum. Proximity is power. You become sharper because they are sharp. You become disciplined because they are disciplined. You become better because they expect you to be. And here's something powerful. Your environment will upgrade you or downgrade you. There is no neutral environment, so choose people who elevate you. Next, you must learn the art of approaching mentors, people with the wisdom you want. They don't have to be celebrities, millionaires, or public figures. They can be a manager at work, a creator online, a friend with expertise, a teacher, a local entrepreneur, or someone who has achieved what you're working toward. The key is to approach with respect and clarity. Don't ask for advice. Don't ask for coffee. Don't ask for mentorship. Ask questions. Specific questions. High-quality questions. What would you do if you were in my situation? What skill do you wish you had learned earlier? What mistake did you learn the most from? What would you focus on if you were starting today? Questions open doors. Questions show humility. Questions show intention. Questions show you are serious about growth. And serious people attract serious mentors. But you also need to learn from the real world, not just people. The real world is a classroom. Life is giving you lessons constantly, if you're willing to pay attention. Every challenge is data. Every setback is information. Every failure is feedback. Every conversation is a micro-teacher. You learn through action. You learn through risk. You learn through saying the wrong thing, trying the wrong way, making the wrong decision, and then adjusting. This is a kind of learning books can't give you. It's raw, it's direct, it's unfiltered, and it stays with you because it costs you something. Exposure to reality sharpens you. It makes your learning practical. It transforms insight into wisdom. To bring awareness to your interactions, ask yourself prompts. What did this experience teach me? What did this person show me about myself? What mistake can I correct immediately? What pattern is repeating and why? What skill did this situation expose that I need to develop? The answers will rewrite your identity. They will uncover blind spots. They will increase self-awareness. They will accelerate your growth more than any textbook. Now imagine adding all three forms of external learning into your life. Growth-minded people. Mentors with experience. Real-world lessons. Your progress wouldn't just increase, it would explode. You'd think clearer because people sharpen your perspective. You'd learn faster because advice gives you shortcuts. You'd grow stronger because real-world challenges toughen your mindset. You'd build confidence because exposure builds competence. You'd move differently because you're no longer guessing, you're guided. This is why successful people are rarely isolated. They build networks, they seek wisdom, they collaborate, they ask questions, they connect with experts, they surround themselves with people who stretch what they believe is possible. Success isn't solo, success is social, not in the sense of popularity, but in the sense of proximity. Proximity to people who elevate your standards. Because here is a powerful truth. Your standards rise to match the standards of the people around you. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you will complain. If you surround yourself with people who blame, you will blame. If you surround yourself with people who learn, you will learn. If you surround yourself with people who push themselves, you will push yourself. Your environment becomes your identity. Your identity becomes your habits. Your habits become your results. Your results become your life, and you get to choose all of it. Now imagine the long-term effect of learning from people, mentors, and the real world for 5 straight years. 5 years of asking better questions. 5 years of getting feedback early. 5 years of surrounding yourself with driven people. 5 years of absorbing wisdom from those ahead of you. 5 years of letting real-world experiences shape your skill set. You would not just grow, You would transform. You would become someone others look to for guidance. You would become someone who thinks clearly, acts decisively, and learns quickly. You would become someone who moves through the world with a grounded confidence that can only come from experience, not theory. And that leads to the punchline of this chapter. Self-education is powerful, but self-education combined with people, mentors, and real-world lessons is unbeatable. You rise faster, you grow deeper, you gain clarity sooner, you build wisdom stronger, you accelerate beyond anything you could achieve alone. So don't isolate your learning, expand it, connect it, humanize it. Learn from people who've lived the journey. Learn from mentors who carry wisdom. Learn from the world that is constantly teaching you. Because the moment you stop learning alone is the moment you start growing exponentially. Chapter 10. Build a 5-year advantage. Stay ahead of 99%. People. Most people underestimate what 5 years of focused learning can do. They dream in days, they hope in weeks, they quit in months. And because of that, they never experience the transformation that comes from long-term commitment. This is the pain that keeps people average. They think short-term, but greatness is built long-term. A year of learning will change your confidence. 2 years will change your skills. 3 years will change your opportunities. 4 years will change your income. 5 years will change your life. Not because time is magical, but because consistent self-education compounds in ways people never see until it's too late. Here is the principle that top 1% live by. Long-term learners always outrun short-term thinkers. Short-term thinkers chase trends. Long-term learners build timeless skills. Short-term thinkers want results today. Long-term learners want a future they can dominate. Short-term thinkers seek comfort. Long-term learners seek growth. Picture two people starting from the same place. The first jumps from idea to idea, goal to goal, skill to skill, never staying long enough to become dangerous. The second chooses a direction, stacks skills slowly, builds habits daily, and stays committed for years. 5 years pass. One is still searching, the other is unstoppable. This is the picture most people ignore. 5 years of daily self-education can put you in a completely different league. You don't need luck. You don't need genius. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need consistency, focus, and time. Time working for you, not against you. The practice begins with a simple commitment. Decide who you want to be in 5 years, not what you want to have, not what you want to achieve, who you want to become. Because the person you become determines the life you get to have. Do you want to be someone with strong skills, someone with discipline, someone with clarity, someone with confidence, someone people respect, someone people rely on, someone with options, opportunities, and power? If the answer is yes, then your next 5 years must become the most intentional years of your life. Start by imagining your 5-year self. What do they know? How do they think? How do they speak? What skills do they have? What habits do they live by? What kind of room do they walk into? What kind of challenges do they handle easily? Your long-term self is your roadmap. Then break this vision down into skills. Everything you want in life is tied to a skill. Skills create opportunities. Skills create income. Skills create stability. Skills create confidence. So choose the skills that will matter most for your next 5 years. Communication, leadership, financial literacy, digital skills, creativity, problem solving, self-management, emotional control. These are evergreen skills. Skills that will compound regardless of how the world changes. Next, build your 5-year learning stack. This stack is the system you follow every day. Daily, 1 hour of learning. Weekly, 1 small project or practice cycle. Monthly, 1 reflection and review. Quarterly, 1 skill theme. Yearly, one identity, upgrade. This is how you train yourself for long-term excellence, not by intensity, but by consistency, not by pressure, but by structure. People overestimate what they can do in a week, but underestimate what they can do in 5 years. 5 years of daily learning can turn you into a leader in your field, even if you start from zero. 5 years can make you financially stable even if you begin with nothing. 5 years can change your entire identity, even if today you feel lost, behind, or unsure. To stay aligned with your long-term vision, ask yourself prompts regularly. What would my 5-year self want me to learn today? Will this choice help or hurt my future identity? What skill will matter most in my life 5 years from now? What would my future self thank me for building? These questions shift your thinking from short-term dopamine to long-term transformation. Because the truth is simple. The future belongs to those who plan for it, and the next 5 years are coming whether you prepare or not. But here's the part people forget. 5 years is not just about growth. It's about separation. While most people drift, you'll be learning. While most people complain, you'll be improving. While most people stay the same, you'll be evolving. While most people react, you'll be designing. 5 years of this puts you ahead of 99% of people, not because you're special, but because you're consistent. Growth becomes your lifestyle. Discipline becomes your normal. Learning becomes your identity. And identity is the most powerful force in human behavior. When you become a person who learns every day, you no longer negotiate with yourself. You no longer choose between learning and distraction. You no longer give in to excuses. You simply show up, daily, quietly, powerfully. Your future self becomes non-negotiable. Now imagine how your life will feel 5 years from now. You wake up with clarity. You think with precision. You speak with confidence. You move with purpose. You handle challenges with ease. You attract opportunities naturally. People trust you. People respect you. People seek your guidance. Not because you were lucky, because you built yourself. Imagine your bank account, healthier because of financial literacy you developed. Imagine your career, stronger because of the skills you stacked. Imagine your relationships, richer because of emotional intelligence you trained. Imagine your mind, calmer because you invested time into understanding it. 5 years of long-term self-education is the difference between who you are and who you could be. And you get to choose which version becomes real, and that leads to the punchline. The truth that defines the entire journey of this audiobook. 1 hour a day will change your life today. 5 years of it will change your life forever. Time is your ally if you use it. Time is your enemy if you waste it. Time is neutral until you give it direction. So give it direction, give it purpose, give it intention. Start now, stay consistent, protect your future, honor your potential. Because 5 years from today, the world will look at you differently. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. Educate yourself until the life you want becomes normal. You've reached the end of this audiobook, but in reality, you're standing at the beginning of something far bigger. Everything you've learned, every mindset, every principle, every strategy, every habit was never meant to stay on these pages. It was meant to move into your life, your routine, your decisions, your identity. Because self-education isn't something you finish, it's something you become. You now understand a truth that most people never discover. You don't need a different life. You need a different rhythm. 1 hour a day, one skill at a time, one identity, built piece by piece. That's the rhythm that changes futures. Most people drift through life reacting to whatever comes their way. They wait for motivation, they wait for clarity, they wait for the right time. And while they wait, their potential fades. Their confidence weakens. Their dreams shrink into something more realistic. But you are not that person. Not anymore. You've seen how daily learning compounds. You've seen how mindset shapes direction. You've seen how intentionality builds momentum. And now you see that your future isn't something you find. It's something you build deliberately, hour by hour. Growth is slow at first, invisible at first, quiet at first. Then suddenly it becomes undeniable. That's how transformation works. Not through intensity, but consistency. Not through pressure, but clarity. Not through luck, but through long-term commitment. The people who rise in life aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who learn the longest. Because time rewards learners. It multiplies effort. It deepens skill. It sharpens identity. It makes you someone the world begins to notice without you having to shout. And this journey you're on? It's not a 10-chapter project. It's a lifelong evolution. You've built the foundation, a learning hour, a roadmap, a system, a mindset, an identity. Now the work shifts from understanding to applying, from intention to action, from learning to living. If you feel overwhelmed, take a breath. This journey doesn't demand speed, it demands direction. Just ask yourself each day, what is one thing I can learn today that improves who I become tomorrow? That question alone can rebuild your entire life. Your mind will resist some days, your emotions will fight you, your environment will distract you, your schedule will challenge you. But these moments aren't signs that you're failing, they're signs that you're growing. Friction means transformation is happening. Pressure means identity is shifting. Remember this, you don't have to change your whole life today. You only have to win the next hour, because 1 hour becomes 2. 2 become 20, 20 become 200. And before you know it, you've built a mind you're proud of and a future you once thought belonged to someone else. Imagine what 30 days of this will do. Now imagine 12 months. Now imagine 5 years. If you stay on this path, truly stay, your life will not just improve, it will expand, it will rise, it will separate you from the 99% who stopped learning long ago. One day you will look back and say, I built this life myself, 1 hour at a time. And that is the power of self-education. It gives you ownership, it gives you options, it gives you freedom. Not the kind of freedom people talk about, but the kind of freedom you can feel. Freedom to choose your path. Freedom to redirect your destiny. Freedom to reinvent yourself at any stage of life. Everything you want for your future begins with the hour you choose to dedicate today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, right now. That's when the gap between who you are and who you could be begins to close. So take the lessons you've learned here and carry them forward. Protect your focus, guard your energy, design your environment, build your skills, seek mentors, track your growth, stay curious, stay open, stay intentional. Above all, stay committed to the journey. You don't owe the world perfection, you owe yourself progress. Your life is not defined by what you didn't learn before. It's defined by what you choose to learn next. The next chapter of your life is unwritten, but you now hold the pen. So write boldly, learn daily, grow relentlessly, and educate yourself until the life you want stops feeling like a dream and starts feeling like your new normal.